Hello everyone, once again, and welcome back to Carpo's channel. That's me, Carpo, and when I make a video, you better believe that it's important, because everything I talk about is extremely important. Okay, all jokes aside, I wanted to make a video about how to not be awkward, and in order to make this video, I have to be a little awkward. And most of my subscribers know that I'm, well, if you know me well, you know that I'm an awkward person, but it may not appear that way to some people from the outside. In other words, if you watch certain people speak or discuss topics, you might think, wow, that person has it figured out. I'm not saying that I do. I'm saying that I've had people actually accuse me of knowing what I'm talking about. And I've had to inform them, I'm sorry, but I don't know shit. And, it's kind of humbling to realize that you don't know shit. And at the same time, I'm not ignorant to the fact that I know a lot of things other people don't. When topics come up, whether it be anything from, nuclear energy to, spiritual teachings or different religions or politics, I usually have at least some bit of a grasp on the topic. That's not because I just happen to be endowed with knowledge. It's because I spend my extra time learning about things. I spend my time educating myself on everything I possibly can on the world around me. That's what I'm interested in. Now, other people may not, and that's okay. It's not something everybody needs to be seeking is knowledge about everything. I made a video a minute ago. I don't know if I've uploaded it yet, but it was how to be interesting. And the joke was around the fact that in order to be interesting, you have to be interested. That means if you don't educate yourself and learn about things, you're never going to be interesting because you're not interested. But also, you might not find other people interesting because you're not interested in what they have to say. And that's just part of being human. But when it comes to not being awkward, it's very simple. To not be awkward, all you have to do is realize that you're awkward and stop trying. I think that it comes most to light when we're hanging out with other people. A great example, actually, a perfect example. I just got back from a 12-hour road trip with my boss. We had to drive 6 hours out to John Day through some pretty nasty weather, some icy roads and whatnot, all the way out to Eastern Oregon to work on a tiny home that we'd built and to fix a couple things, to swap a water heater out with a more powerful one. Took about an hour and a half, maybe, to do the work. It was nothing. And then we stayed at a motel, and then we had to drive all the way back this morning from 7 to noon. So for that full 12 hours, I was in the car with my boss. When I thought about going, I thought, wow, this will be interesting. I've never spent this much time with somebody that I don't know that well, because generally our coworkers and bosses, we might know them from work and spend hours working with them. But to sit down and have a conversation, or a lack thereof, is something that once you experience it, you become more comfortable with the person. But the point I wanted to make was the awkward silence. Often people speak of the awkward silence when you're with somebody and you don't know what to say. And that was the beauty. Both of us know we don't have to say anything. He's the kind of guy who has been through, let's just say he's very experienced. He has a Buddhist mentality, which to me is important. Somebody who can be a little bit stoic and just let things go, but at the same time be themselves. And so we had a great time, had a few discussions, and also spent several hours just sitting in silence. It wasn't awkward at all because I was with a person who understood. And I guess that's what I'm getting at. Being awkward is usually created in our own minds. It's not that it's an awkward situation that we're in. It's that we've created an awkward situation for ourselves by overthinking what the situation entails. So it would be like, I guess I don't have to think of any examples here because most of you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. We create illusions about what's going on in other people's minds, how other people think, how they feel, and it's 99% of the time it's complete bullshit. We have no idea what other people are thinking, how they feel, and we pretend like we do. I'm sure every one of you has had somebody who has made claims about you as an individual, right? Saying, well, you must feel this way, or you must be like this, or you must think this. And you just roll your eyes thinking, how can this person really make these assumptions about me? Because to them, the situation has become so awkward, they're creating an illusion of who you are to understand themselves better. I guess that didn't come out the way I hoped it would. That's the thing when you're speaking off the cuff. It is awkward. All the videos I make, before I upload them, I think, is this even worth it? And then I do it anyway. I'll tell you, the only videos I don't make public are the ones that I wait at least 2 days on. And then all of a sudden I feel awkward about them. I feel like they're not worth sharing. And once in a while, I will make one public that I've had unlisted for a long time. And I'll have all these people say, oh man, this was the greatest video you've ever made. I love this video. This video helped me so much. And I think, that's awesome. But why? Why is it the video that I don't want to share becomes the most popular or the most liked when the ones that I do share and I'm excited about, people don't want to hear? And I start looking at the different topics, the ideas, and of course I make videos for the sake of making them, talking. I don't do this for views. You know that. I hope all of my subscribers know that my videos are never titled to get clicks and views or likes. I speak honestly and from the heart, from the things I feel. And I'll be honest, that is awkward because it's almost easier to kind of follow suit in what other people believe and what other people think because it's what gets the clicks, gets the likes. And ultimately, if people get a lot of feedback that's positive, they believe what they're doing is right and correct, even if they have a completely biased audience. And that can make for a very awkward situation when that person finally meets up with somebody who has a different viewpoint and they're met face to face in person and having to discuss and explain their points of view. And I guess what I'm getting at is that being worldly and informed is probably the best way to not be awkward. To educate yourself on every topic, however uncomfortable. To come to terms with the fact that you might say things or feel things at one moment, but then process them and think differently the next. That you might say something you regret or that you don't necessarily mean, or maybe it just gets misinterpreted. And you don't have to spend all your time defending your point of view or standing up for yourself, but rather just be. Just exist. Learn, interact with people, process the things that you learn, as I call it, I guess ruminating, or, it's kind of a form of fermentation of ideas within your mind. As I've called it, planting a seed. When you have a discussion with someone and you disagree with them or have a different opinion, it's not about trying to convince them. It's about planting a seed. And if the soil is fertile within their mind, it'll grow. If their mind isn't ready for it, or if it's not conducive to their way of life, it won't grow. But if it does, you can have those discussions later, and they might be less awkward. But ultimately, to put it simply, if things are awkward, you know you're doing it right. I know that might sound counterintuitive because we want to feel sure. We want to feel cocksure and full of ourselves and know what we're talking about. Especially a lot of young men, they see this kind of like hustle culture and they see these guys that know what they want and they go get what they want and they don't ever seem awkward and they've always got the best haircuts and the best beards and you know what I'm talking about. There's an illusion that other people don't feel awkward, and it's complete bullshit. In fact, some of the people out there who appear to have it together the most are the most awkward feeling people. And ultimately, what's important is how you feel inside. So much more important than what other people think of you. So much more important than how other people might view your intentions or your ideas. I'm not saying that other people's opinions don't matter. I'm saying that you really have to have it together in your own heart about who you are, and at the same time not force everybody out because you're so arrogant you think you know what's best. It's a happy medium, and within that happy medium comes an awkward state of being, a state of being that's very difficult to explain and express to people, but that all of you know exactly what I'm talking about. Every one of you has been awkward because I know my audience, probably anybody who's watched my channel this long, kind of echoes that sentiment that we're all a little weird and we all don't have it figured out. And that's okay. Thanks for listening. I appreciate you all. Thanks for coming to my 15-minute free thinking ramble. And, I'm awkward in the sense that I can't even put together a video and edit something fancy or keep up on my podcasts or, make a whole bunch of money in life. I'm just going through the motions, being a human, and trying to improve myself as time goes on, and realizing that my own awkwardness I felt as a kid, it never went away. It's just I've improved upon it and learning who I am. And I hope you have too. Learning who you are, that is. I love y'all. Have a great day. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye now.